Iron Stories, Episode 36, Journey. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Iron Stories. Yeah, last episode was a bit, anticlimactic maybe. Jebran and Katania were just helping the villagers to get back their stolen rations and food and supplies. And for Jebran, it was more a chore to do, whereas Katania was it was more as a empathetic way to helping the people, and it also got them to help in swearing another iron vow, but this time against some money, at least for Jebran. So they basically did one little detour, going to the village and then back to the bandit camp where they found, or this bandit encampment where they found the first time the bandits. And Jebran was just tending to his wounds, and then did fall asleep quickly. He was just out of it. He had to do most of the work. The day it was hot, and he's still hurt. So yeah, it pisses him off a bit, and so he's going to sleep very fast. And Katania takes first watch. As well, I say, just for the brevity of things, that nothing really happens. I don't have any real idea what to do. So they just wake up. The next morning, what I could say, what I did is, I also quote unquote leveled up my characters. I gained some experience points, and for Jebran, which also makes sense here in a story wise, or in character wise, or in play wise, I acquired the asset Ironclad for him. So Ironclad is an asset that basically gives some sort of armor. In a sense. So what he does, because he's pissed a bit from getting stabbed by lonely bandits, and that this takes him down and takes him out of action for the moment. So what he does is to because the villagers they stripped the bandits before they put them onto the fire and burnt them. So there's still some blood-soaken, I would say, leather armor or pieces of leather armor lying around, that Jebran uses and fashions himself some sort of light armor. I mean, just some arm protector thingies that he dons himself. There's maybe a leather vest or a leather piece of armor that he can drop over his shoulder, which because he's a bit of a build a bit more muscular, has a bit bigger stature, has wider shoulders, it's a bit tight for him, but it fits more or less. But at least it's a bit more armor that he had before. He just had some light, some pelts or something like that he wears around it. They didn't have that much armor. But why let good armor go to waste when he can just reuse it. So, which means for him, as I said, he gets the Ironclad combat talent for 3 experience points. So he gets 2 left. So what this does is, what it says is, when you equip or adjust your armor, choose one. So I can either choose lightly armored or geared for war, but I guess geared for war is more like metal armor, iron armor, which he definitely doesn't have, or the bandits probably also doesn't have. So I choose lightly armored here, just the leather armor that he gathers from the bandits' remains, so to speak. So lightly armored means when you endure harm in a fight, add +1 and take a +1 momentum on a hit. So that means, for example, when I get hits, I normally take damage, which reduces my health, and then I have to do this endure harm move, and for that I get a +1, so I'm more likely to get a hit. Either a strong hit or a weak hit. So I probably get, let me see. So the endure harm, I think is a plus iron or plus health. Yeah, so plus iron, which normally is pretty high, so I at least get always a +4 now when I roll for endure harm, which is already quite high, which means because if I roll a +1, I can, for example, reduce, or I can get back 1 health again when I suffer momentum, but on a hit I get a momentum back, so basically I can just heal 1 damage, which basically means I'm reducing the damage by 1 in the best case if I have a strong hit. So yeah, that's a bit the way this asset works. So as I said, it makes sense here story wise, and that he just got sick of being stabbed, and he's just still pretty wounded. He only has +3 health, so it makes sense that he tries to gather some sort of protection, especially since they are probably wandering into the lion's den, so to speak. So it's probably best to have at least some sort of armor, and it might also be maybe a bit of a disadvantage maybe if we go in, because he's wearing an armor of maybe known bandits, so this might open up also interesting situations, because maybe, or for example, someone in the big camp could recognize the armor and says, hey, why are you wearing XY's armor? So then he has to defend himself. So that's already interesting. So that's for him. Katania, I didn't level up, level up in quote unquote in that way. What I imagine what she is doing, she is looking at the silver dagger, examining the silver dagger that she got from the Sana as a parting gift, so to speak. And ever since she has that the spirits that are normally bothering her, because she's connected to the spirit realm via her bond, via her lost love, or lost love, I say, Themon. So the spirits keep her, so she's more calm with that, so she doesn't feel the spirits invading her mind as strongly as before, which is also really good for her, because she can concentrate now more on the world. She still sees the spirits; they're still around, and she still can feel Themon in her normal keen dagger. It's just yeah, it's just that they're just keeping quiet. There's just small whispers instead of normal conversation or shouting, maybe even. So that's helping her at least, and she's wondering when she's contemplating while she's taking maybe first watch, if she somehow could transfer that the magic of the keen to the silver dagger. The last time that happened, she killed Themon. So she wonders what has to be the event so that she could maybe transfer that mystical, magical energy to the silver dagger, just to maybe make it more controllable, and to make it maybe even to make it more controllable for her as well. So she contemplates about that while doing her watch, which mechanically works into the idea of rarities. So rarities are a way of having like special magical items. I would say is like the if you look at some other role playing games with like magical items that are rare or uncommon or something like that, or probably rare. Which is basically the rarities give a bit of an edge when you use a specific asset. In this case, the keen, but it costs a lot of experience points. So I would say story-wise, that she's still learning. She still has to. I mean, she's still learning when it comes to her. About her magic, her connection to the spirit world, her connection to the keen itself, on how to actually control it. But it is, I would say, a step in her WoW, at least the contemplation at this point. So she's now at 3 ticks in her epic WoW, where she tries to find out more about her magic or about her connection to the spirit world itself. So that's just for admin reasons, and I think that makes sense that I just overgo the normal role for the making camp here, I guess, just for this maybe administrative work or work on how the characters also evolve now. So yeah, as a quick reminder, Katania is at +5 health, +5 spirit, and +4 supply. She lost some supplies while while they were traveling back to the campsite, because it was hot. They needed to drink a bit more than they expected. And she has 3 unspent experience, and Jebran has +3 health, because he got the brand of force. That's why he dons the armor. +5 spirit, +5 supply, and he only has 2 experience left from his 5 that he got over the time. So that's that. So let's get back to a bit more of the meat and gritty of the story, I say. But it's also interesting to see how the characters evolve itself, at the contemplation of Katania and the lamentation of Jebran, so to speak. So it is a new day. So the first thing they need to do is to wander off into that direction that the bandit showed them. Walk that way to find this bandit encampment, or this bandit hideout, maybe. where the others are meeting up to bring the supplies, etc. that they stolen for some unknown bigger reason in itself. So they move on. I would say that Jebran, now in his newfound endeavors with the army, he feels a bit more protected, a bit more I would say secure-ish. So I would say that he is taking the lead in undertaking a journey. I don't know how long it goes. Let's see what the role gives. So yeah. So he rolls that he tries to remember the direction that the bandit pointed on, and trying to move in a straight line more or less into that direction to find this bigger hideout, bandit hideout, I would say. So he rolls undertake journey, rolling plus wits. Okay, so that is a strong hit here. So I rolled an 8 against a 5 and a 3, which is really good. So on a strong hit, you reach a waypoint. If the waypoint is unknown to you, envision it, which is probably that I have to do because I have no idea what exactly is going on. And then I can choose either to just mark progress, which probably doesn't make sense, or I can mark progress and take +1 momentum but suffer -1 supply, which is probably something I'm gonna do more, because I don't have really a progress here, because I don't know how far anything is away. The journey probably isn't that difficult. It's not that hazardous land here, I guess. It's just mostly plains here, so yeah. But I guess they're walking more towards the mountain range from here on, I would say. So there's so yeah, I guess it's the direction that the bandit pointed to is more to a mountainside, because it makes sense for them to hide in there. So maybe I have to ask the oracle to say or to find out maybe what could be. Maybe I can just roll on the theme, maybe, to find maybe something that could be here. So let's roll on the theme oracle to see what it gives me. Okay, so I rolled a 63, which means resource on the theme. So yeah, I mean, I guess it makes there is something here. So yeah, so they traveled a bit. They had to yeah. So so I would say that he suffers -1 supply to get +1 momentum here, because I said just marking progress doesn't make sense here. But he is like in a trot. He has gathered some momentum, I guess, because he has some newfound confidence now that he's wearing some armor, that he's strutting along. So that what I would say at this point, the momentum is going very well for him. But they use up some resources, but some supplies. But lucky for them that they found maybe here some sort of things that they could maybe resupply. So there's maybe a small stream here which they could use to refill their water skins to get some more water. There is maybe roots or berries around, or maybe even he saw some rabbits or something like that trotting around in the vicinity of water, so watering hole, which makes sense. So I guess Jebran says here, yeah, I think this is a good place to make camp. Who knows how long it goes to reach this hideout, this bandit thing, if there is even such a thing. Let's just make camp here. It has been a day's journey. It's probably a good thing to go out and resupply a bit. And Katania agrees and says she will go out. You prepare the camp. You're still hurt, so it's best when I go around, tend to your wounds. They seem to be the bandages are the blood, or they're bleeding through. You're bleeding through your bandages again, so it's best you do that. She will gather some wood to make the fires and maybe try to find a rabbit or something like that for lunch or for dinner even. So she goes out and resupplies. I think that's something that I did very rarely so far, so let's do. So when you hunt, forage, or scavenge, roll plus wits. So this is what I do. So I will hunt and forage. So as I said, refilling the water skins, trying to find some game to eat. So I rolled again a strong hit here, even an opportunity. So I rolled an 8 against a 4 and a 4. Today I'm rolling really well with these 8s. Well, I say that now, and probably soon I will roll very badly, but at least that. So first off, that means that the resupply works, that she gets +2 resupply here, so she goes back to full, to +5, because I can't get higher. So she finds definitely, so it's not really an issue for her to find water to fill the water skins that she brought. It's relatively easily for her to do. And she's also able to catch 1 or 2 rabbits. She's nimble enough to catch one of them. Maybe one is just hopping to get some water as well, and she just seizes the opportunity and catches the rabbit and breaks its neck and kills it, or maybe even rams a dagger in it, or I don't know. So at least they wouldn't go hungry for the evening. And for the opportunity, I would say, while she's also maybe looking around a bit, if she's already here, I mean, it makes sense here, but that she looks around a bit the situation to see how is everything looking. She also finds a lot of footprints around the similar site here, maybe a bit off. She finds as well remnants of an old campfire here. There's like a spot where there's a darkened charcoal-like substance on the floor, and she sees many footsteps around these things. And she can gather roundabout. There were probably 9 people here that moved around, and then the footsteps are moving away from the campsite in the direction where they came from. So she gathers the bandits must have come from here as well. So they seem to be on the right track, whereas at least when it comes to following the steps back or following the path that they may have taken, which is something good, which maybe even gives them an edge when it comes to the next leg of their journey, when it comes to traveling further in that direction. At least it seems that the bandit said some part of truth. At least he said, I mean, the least he did was to point in the direction where they came from. So it makes sense. So yeah, so she goes back to Jebran and conveys that information. Hey, I found some footsteps which could probably be from the bandits that we fought before. So we are on the right track, and we should keep an eye out when we are following, or we should keep an eye out of these foot tracks to maybe find this big hideout a bit quicker, a bit easier, by just flimsy pointing in one direction, saying, hey, follow there. So it was quite lucky for her to find that. In the meantime, Jebran is in the midst of setting up the camp to build a fire, to re-bandage his wounds again. As they begin to heal, they begin to close up and heal. So he makes camp in the meantime. So let's roll for that as well. Yeah, I knew it as soon as I said that I'm only rolling well. I'm rolling a weak hit. I rolled a 7 against a 2 and a 10. Those 10 are always bad. Because there's nothing you can do against it. So that means I have a weak hit on making a camp here, which I can just choose between one out of 5 options. Recuperate, partake, relax, focus, and prepare. I guess it makes most sense because it's what I narratively already said a bit, to take recuperate, which means that I take +1 health for you and any companions. Katania is at full health, but at least that's something that is helping Jebran in this moment. So he goes back up to +4 health. So he again uses some of the herbs and mixtures and salves that they got from Whitewood, and applies them to his wounds again, re-bandages them, and redons his armor again after he done so. And then they begin to eat the rabbits that Katania brought. It is for him a satisfying thing now to have something warm in his belly again, and the wounds that are not bothering him as much as they did before. So again, they make camp here, and they start to set watches, and they start to sleep and setting watches again together. Nothing much important happens here during the night. Again, Katania is again contemplating about her dagger and thinking more and more about this thing, how she could maybe transfer that energy or that thing. And she's also thinking about what would it mean for Themon? Would she lose him if she transferred the spirit, that thing? Because silver has this calming effect on him. Does this maybe mean that if she transfer it, that the power of the keen is lost because the spirits are bad and the silver keeps bad things at bay? Maybe she doesn't really know that. That's also maybe a bit of discomfort she gets here. Maybe troubling thought that she gets here. Maybe wasn't that good of an idea to think about it, and she begins then to sleep after her watch, with this thought still in her mind. What could that possibly mean? So they get up again in the next morning, and start to undertake a journey again, to find this hideout again. They seem to be on the right track, and they use that information, and they use that help that they got from that opportunity to maybe find tracks that they see from the bandits to retrace their steps, and to maybe find that way the hideout much quicker, by just following in that one blind direction. So let's see what I roll here for undertake a journey. So they travel they travel by looking at the ground to find the footsteps to retrace the steps of the bandits. I unfortunately rolled a weak hit here, so I rolled a 3 against a 9 and a 1. At least, luckily for me, I rolled a 1 at least. So I make progress, but I suffer some more supplies here. It takes a lot out of their resources, or at least from Jebran's resources. He falls down to +3 supply. So this takes a bit of it takes them, maybe they're hurrying up a bit, because now they have a lead, they have a track. They maybe begin even to, instead of slow walking, have a faster walk, or maybe even run a bit, just to make up a bit more territory in the same amount of time, just to get up a bit, to speed up things a bit, to maybe make it what normally would be a 3-day travel to be a 1-day travel, or a 2-day travel to a 1-day travel. But then, of course, it takes out some of their energy as well, and by doing so, also maybe some of the supplies that they get, maybe they drink more. They have to eat a bit more of the rations that they have. But I would say about in the evening, they reach the first outskirts. I would say, well, outskirts is a bit said too much, but the first outlets of the mountain range. So as they travel now further inland, they will come to the mountain range, and they can see that from the horizon it begins to grow, and they can see more and more of the mountains here as well. And so the territory or the area becomes more hilly, so to speak. So there's more and more hills. The plain or the planar field is broken up by hills and hills that are starting to get more rougher and rugged as they approach the mountain. and they can see as well in the distance uh, what seems to be a palisade of some sort. Wooden wooden beams even, probably um, f- uh, um, tree trunks that got just uh, set side by side to make a big palisade around what seems to be a bigger camp. They can just see glimpses of fires looking through. They can just see the smoke rising from this hideout, from where they are. Um, as it's getting darker, they can't see that much. They can't see if it's well protected or not. They can't see that far ahead. They have to probably travel a bit more. It's still, I would say, half a day's journey away, but they can see in the distance already because it's just so big, or it's just so it encompasses so much. It's well visible. Imagine like a small village that you can see from afar. It's still visible in the distance, even though it's nestled a bit. So they had to only make like half. So I would say it's like a half circle of palisade that is on each side, anchored to a part of the mountain. So it's like there's like two big rocks that are like split side by side, where they put their encampment in the midst of it, and then created a half circle. So they're in the back and in the sides they are protected by the mountain, and in the front they just have erected this wall to probably keep watch, and those that shouldn't be here outside of the camp as well. So it's well thought out. It's it's not probably not well fortified. Well, they don't know, but it's at least it has a strategic advantage. So they think to themselves, okay, whoever thought of that has some sort of martial training. He has some sort of ideas and clues on how to do things. So there's a strategic thinking about everything here, which makes makes it interesting, because normally bandits are not that well organized, to say. They're just a group of maybe 4 or 5 people that go around and live their lives how they want to be. There's probably not that. They're more nomads, vagabonds. They don't settle down in a specific way. Most probably because if they would settle down in a specific place, they could just the authorities, quote unquote, could just find them and apprehend them, and that'd be that. So they have to be always on the move. So seeing such a big encampment here, or hideout here, seems a bit odd as well, and seems to be a sort of acknowledgement on what the bandit said, that bandits from near and far banded together into this hideout for one common cause, to give themselves protection and to give some sort of like job while still being able to do what they do best, so thieving around, etc. Not adhering to any laws or rules. Well, but at least they think that. They don't specifically know that. They just see that there is this hideout or encampment, walled off area in the distance. It could also be just another village. They don't know. But for now, they think, Jebran and Katania think, it's probably best to stay away a bit from there. Let the distance be our protection for the night as well, and let's get to this place in the next day when it's daylight and not in the evening, where they might not see everything, where they might be surprised. They're still bandits after all, and I mean they don't know exactly what they might expect here. So this time Jebran says, hey, this time around I'm gathering for some supplies. I'm feeling better, so maybe you should take this time to make camp. It's also that he feels a bit that he needs to do something. He didn't do a lot of it, so he has to feel the axe in his hands again. Hunt something just to get that spirit back up again. Something that he may have lost by just being more or less passive the last few days. So he has to get back again to stretch his muscles, so to speak. So he goes out and resupplies here. Yeah, no problem for Jebran. He didn't lose his edge at all, even when he was like on the bench for 2 days now. He still got the hunter's blood in him, so to speak. So he scored a strong hit here, 7 against a 3 and a 2. So again, he takes 2 supply here. So he goes back up to +5. So yeah, he is as well able to gather material together. He maybe got a bit better than Katania got. Just to show her, hey, I'm still the man. I can still do stuff. So yeah, he didn't lose his edge. The wound that doesn't even bother him as much. It's just a small like discomfort when he's bending, or just like so it doesn't bother him as much. So he's back in his element. The axe guiding him at all, and he's also testing out a bit his new armor. Does it hinder his movement or not? How is it? And he finds out, well, it's actually quite nice, even though as I said, it's tied around the shoulders and then the upper body part where he has his broad musculature. He's still able to move around as freely as he was before. It doesn't bother him that much, and he feels good. He feels a bit more secure. Maybe there's a bit of hubris in it, but we will see maybe later. So yeah, that's at least nice. So it was also a little bit like a testing run. In the meantime, Katania has to prepare a camp, or is making camp for the night as well. So she's making camp and rolling on plus supply. She's still at +5 supply, so hopefully this shouldn't be big of a problem. Yeah, as I said, that not really a problem. It's still a weak hit. I rolled a 9, but I also rolled a 9 and a 7. So almost a fail. If I rolled a bit worse on the action die, well, this could have been. I needed to roll at least a 2, no, a 3 at least. So yeah, I mean, it was not that much off. Could have failed. There's a 30% chance that I would have failed. So again, it's a weak hit at least. I would say that Katania helps Jebran a bit to rebandage again. So he goes back up to +5 health. So they use the recuperate again. So they take +1 health for you and any companions. So yeah, that's that. Although I don't know if companions means as an asset, could also be. So maybe, yeah, it probably means companions as a part of asset, I guess. So I'd probably take focus, which means I take +1 momentum, which brings her to +4. I don't think even that Jebran probably would let Katania help him. It's for him. It's like a sense of defeatism. If he lets somebody else help him, he has to do it himself. It's like a bit of a pride thing. So at least I think she probably is focusing on the next days that are ahead of them before they enter the camp. And she also says it's probably best if they start wearing these signs, these sigils or whatever that is, before they enter, before they run the journey. It could be that there may be they could probably maybe see their fire when they do camp. They try to be a bit to hide a bit, to maybe behind another hill or behind some rocks, make the fire to maybe not to be visible directly. But it could be that maybe some patrol, or if they get caught, it's probably best if they start wearing these pieces of cloth with the skull and fist on it, painted on it. So they start to Katania takes out 2 of these insignias from her bag and binds it in her belt, or maybe on the forearm or the upper arm, just to have it out if they get maybe surprised in the night, even as I said, by a patrol or something like that. They already have some sort of sign that they are maybe part of this bandit camp, but they don't of course know if there are bandits. But yeah, they could probably see where it goes from here. But for the moment, they make the arrest as it would be. As I said, Katania is focusing already on the next steps here. So that's why she's probably a bit better thinking ahead of things. And the day, or the sun rises again as for the next day. And so now the last part of the journey is to take the journey to this bandit hideout. But I guess this we will see in the next episode when they reach the bandit hideout as well. So that was it for this episode. I hope to hear you in the next one.